Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. Donald Trump, cornered on the Epstein scandal, is now falling back to his favorite PR strategies: chaos and confusion. As the Politico headline put it, Trump does Epstein U-turn as House Republicans prepare to spurn him. Here's the reporting from ABC News.
Trump last night making his new position clear. House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide, and it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax. It comes ahead of tomorrow's expected vote in the House on a bill that could force the release of all of the Justice Department's files on Epstein. The lead Republican co-sponsor of the bill says more than 100 Republicans may support it.
And you will have voted to protect pedophiles if you don't vote to release these files. The record of this vote will last longer than Donald Trump's presidency.
By all accounts, Trump is leaning into that old saying, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. But Trump's version in this case has a twist. Because as Mediaite notes, Trump can order the Department of Justice, which is part of the executive branch that he controls, to release the Epstein files without congressional authorization. However, he has so far refused to do so. Earlier this year, Attorney General Pam Bondi reportedly informed the president that his name appears in the files. In front of reporters on Air Force One, Trump portrayed himself as a passive observer on everything, including the release of the files and the evidence itself.
I don't care about it, released or not. What I think you should do, if you're going to do it, then you have to go into Epstein's friends.
What Trump does not acknowledge is that he and Epstein were each other's best friend for more than 10 years. Journalist Michael Wolff interviewed Epstein repeatedly.
I have been trying to talk about this story for a very long time now. And this is, well, perhaps we're getting close to the smoking gun. These two men, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, had the closest of relationships for more than a decade. They shared everything.
They shared business deals, airplanes, and allegedly girls.
I suffered so much pain.
As pressure mounts, this new video shows 8 Epstein survivors advocating for the release of the files.
I was 14 years old.
I was 16 years old.
I was 16.
17. 14 years old.
The women holding photos of their younger selves, reciting their ages when they met Epstein.
It's time to bring the secrets out of the shadows.
The video ending with this message: 5 administrations and we're still in the dark.
Republican Congressman Tom Massie of Kentucky is one of the co-sponsors of the House bill to release the Epstein files. Massie has spent a lot of time talking with the Epstein trafficking victims.
Once they got to the age of consent, they weren't exciting to him anymore. And he would traffic them to his friends. Now, so you might, at this point, they're going to say, oh, well, there were prostitutes. They were 18. They were age of consent. Jeffrey Epstein was giving them something. And then they did, sexual things with these men. And so what happens is those men who have billions of dollars, they had money to pay off police departments, to lose reports, to pay off judges. What they would typically do is they would a lot of these girls were from families that weren't very affluent. The family would end up with $150,000 up to $500,000 of money, and the girl wouldn't testify. So basically, that's one of the things they would do. But now they would just sue them into poverty for defamation. And if you don't have the power that the government has to discover these facts, then you can't contest the defamation case well enough, and the process is the punishment.
Now, the process has turned against Donald Trump. Even before his reversal, telling House Republicans to vote for the bill, lawmakers said at least half of the GOP Republican caucus in the House, or more than 100 Republicans, were going to defy Donald Trump and vote with the Democrats to release the files. Trump was losing badly. As Politico writes, It's important to remember just how hard Trump and the GOP leadership battled to block this vote. Speaker Mike Johnson kept the House shuttered for almost 2 months and refused to swear in Rep. Adelita Grijalva, Democrat of Arizona, since her signature was the one that forced the discharge petition to the House floor. Then Trump personally interviewed last week in a failed 11th hour effort to convince 2 Republican rebels to withdraw their support. Those 2 House Republicans, Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert, defied Trump even after Boebert faced direct lobbying over the phone from Trump and in person at the White House from Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel. After that, Donald Trump exploded at another longtime House Republican supporter.
Trump this weekend attacking his former ally, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, calling her a lunatic and a traitor after she supported releasing the files.
I believe the country deserves transparency in these files, and I don't believe that rich, powerful people should be protected if they have done anything wrong.
Greene saying since Trump's attacks, she's received multiple threats, saying this puts blood in the water and creates a feeding frenzy, and it could ultimately lead to a harmful or even deadly outcome.
I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her.
Trump says he cut ties with Epstein after a decade-long friendship because Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell were luring away women and girls who worked at Mar-a-Lago. Trump claims at the time of Epstein's arrest in 2019, he hadn't spoken with the notorious sex offender in 15 years.
But emails from the Epstein estate obtained by the House Oversight Committee and recently released suggests Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein got together for Thanksgiving in November 2017, 1 year into Donald Trump's first presidential term. Lawmakers in Congress believe the Epstein files being held at the Department of Justice and FBI are even worse for Trump and would show through photographs and videos what Trump was doing with the women and girls. Trump has already begun to claim the materials were doctored by the Biden administration. But that defense underscores a new political reality for Donald Trump, that the pressure to release the files keeps building. Republicans in the Senate now believe that after an overwhelming vote in the House, Senate Majority Leader John Thune will bring the Epstein files vote to the Senate floor. Plus, with Donald Trump encouraging Republicans now to vote for the bill, Thune reportedly sees no reason to delay any action in the Senate. But even if the bill to release the Epstein files clears both chambers in Congress, there could still be delays. And that's because despite Donald Trump's Epstein bill flip-flops, Trump still has refused to even acknowledge that he could get the files released today himself. But there is something in the Epstein files that has clearly spooked Donald Trump. And even Republicans on Capitol Hill expect that Trump will try to find some excuse to keep those files under wraps, even after members of Congress, for their own political standing with voters, go on record demanding that everything be released. By the way, one of Donald Trump's staunchest supporters in the U.S. House is North Carolina Republican Virginia Foxx, and she just got ridiculed by a Democrat in memorable fashion over the government shutdown.
Ms. Ansari, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome back from your 8 weeks of taxpayer-funded vacation. It's good to see you, and I hope
I'm going to interrupt you.
Republicans
I'm going to interrupt you, please. I am sick and tired of hearing you all say we had an 8-week vacation.
That's exactly what happened.
I worked every day. I don't know about you.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most populous from Yolanda, who wrote, "Fox is too old to be acting like that. She's an embarrassment to senior citizens." I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about Donald Trump panicking over the politics of the Epstein files. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.